To your incredible president, Dr. Anthony Jenkins, Provost Hayward, Regent Edwards, your faculty, staff, family, and friends of the incredible class of 2026, I want to just thank you all for what you have done to mold and to encourage this most impressive class throughout their experience here. Can we give it up for the families who are here today, all those who have supported you, who helped you make it here? And I'd like to congratulate the super bad class of 2026. I'm so honored to be here with each of you today. To this class, you are the embodiment of a dream that's been in motion for over 150 years. $125. That was the price placed on Fanny Coppin's freedom. That's around $5,000 in today's value. After her aunt saved up and paid the price, Fanny was set free just down the road in Washington, D.C. Once she was liberated, Fanny said her dream was to get an education and to teach my people. Now, getting her own education would be a challenge. She had heard already what people had to say about the capabilities of her people, the kinds of opinions that bury dreams. She set out to prove them wrong anyway. And as she worked her way through college, she described the pressure that she was under, and maybe someone in this room can attest to this, as the weight of her people's honor, it felt rested on her own shoulders. But she kept showing up. She earned her education, only the third Black woman in the United States of America to receive a college degree. And it would be even tougher to achieve the second part of her dream. When it came to teaching her people, there was no established way to do so back in 1865, and so she would have to help build it. And that's what she did. This university was named in honor of her work. And isn't it amazing that someone who was told that her worth was merely $125 would leave a priceless impact on this world, surviving and surpassing all who sought to hold her down. And here we are, 120 years later. You were sitting here, the class of 2026, and you are living out her dream. Now, yes, you are. You're living out her dream. Now, Fanny Coppin would be so proud to see you sitting here today. But this moment is just the beginning of her dream for you. It was also her dream for you to live lives of consequence. A life of consequence means that your life impacts the life of another person, improves the circumstances of another person's life. She knew the power of education. And her own education took her from a humble log cabin to traveling all around the world. And after she saw all that she had accomplished, she wrote in her autobiography, however brilliant a person may be intellectually, however skillful in the arts and sciences, he must be reliable, must be trustworthy. We must know that we can depend upon his word. She went on to write that trustworthiness and reliability should be the outgrowth of the moral instruction which we give. And without this fine fruit of all of our teaching, all else will be of little account. In other words, as important as it is to increase your knowledge, it is absolutely nothing unless you have likewise strengthened your integrity. I have to tell you that that is where your value lies. It is not just in your achievements, but it's how you treat people. And so that's my first word of advice for you today. I'm going to give you 5 pieces of advice. But the first is to know that your value is in how you show up for yourself and for others. In other words, it is more than how you think. Nobody cares how smart you are. My father told me many, many years ago, in fact, that being smart is a dime a dozen. And he said that there is instead no substitute for being trustworthy, for being honest, and for treating people with respect. Know for sure that that will be the key to your success. It's noteworthy that years after Fanny Coppin wrote about the importance of trustworthiness, Dr. Martin Luther King would agree, writing that to save a man from the morass of propaganda, in his opinion, was one of the chief aims of education. He went on to note that the most dangerous person may be the man gifted with reason, but with no morals. And so I'll share an open secret with you. There were many, many people in my class who were smarter than me. But I can also tell you that although I worked very hard, I am not a senator because I was the smartest person in the room. I'm a senator because I was taught to make good decisions. I am also, yes, your decisions matter. And I'm a senator because I was taught the importance of showing up for myself and for others. So I understand why two of history's giants spoke so clearly about the importance of a character that stands strong when everything else fades away. And their words are more relevant today than ever, because you are heading into a world where the very idea of truth is under attack. It's a world where you see a video and have to wonder if it is real or whether it is AI. And every day you're being also asked to believe something completely contrary to what your eyes see. You're told that the isms of society no longer exist, even as they affect everything from your career path to your access to the voting booth. And so your journey won't only involve misinformation about the world around you. I want you to know that you'll be confronted with dishonesty about your place in it. You'll hear rewritten versions of our history. You'll hear the first false claims that you didn't earn your achievements. You'll face attitudes that you don't belong in some of the rooms you'll walk into, and simply put, you're going to be lied to. Any suggestion that you don't belong exactly where you'll be, any suggestion that you haven't earned it, will be a lie. And in spite of all of that, I want you to know that you will still succeed. And I know you will. In fact, I know you will because you walk in the footprints of generations of others who faced similar headwinds and who succeeded anyway. They knocked down every single obstacle that came their way. And you'll see that some of the same things that they saw, you too will see. As James Baldwin said it, we are trapped in our history, and our history is trapped in us. So history has a way of repeating itself, and similar obstacles will arrive, but I want you to know, as your ancestors soon found out, you'll have stories of triumph as well. And when you internalize our history, you'll realize that those who came before you did all that you will do, and that they will not depend on what people said about you, but who you are is revealed in how you respond to the situations that people throw at you. You'll find that people will try to hold you back, and I want you to hear me very clearly this morning. Those who try to hold you back, believe me, will not do so because you are unqualified. It's because they need a head start. Even so, you'll go far in this world, and you'll find yourselves in the all-important rooms and important spaces where decisions are made. And you are not only qualified to be there, but you are needed there. We need you to get in there, to be yourselves, and to take up some space. Now, I remember the days when I was preparing to go to the Senate. I was preparing for my swearing in and such, and I was preparing to bring in I love to collect Black art. And so I was preparing a few pieces that I was putting together. And, I started to wonder whether I was doing a little too much. This is just a real story. The reality is that the environment that I was entering is one that I knew I would be in the extreme minority. And so I admit that reality caused me to second guess myself a little bit. And looking back on that moment, I want you to know that it is natural to feel tempted at times to conform to your surroundings. And there will be times where you too might have those same secret thoughts. And it was my daughter who helped me out of that situation. She turned 21 yesterday. She's a junior in college. And it was Alex who said to me, "What is it, Mom, that you are trying to figure out here?" As I was gathering those pictures. And she said to me, "You know, people did not elect you with the expectation that you wouldn't go down there and be yourself. And in fact," she said, "let me answer the question for you. Instead of shrinking yourself, I want you to go down there, Mommy, and take up some space. Take up some space." And in fact, she said, "I want you to find yourself at some tables with some people who don't see the world like you do. And I want you to go down there and find the solutions to some of these problems." But she first said, go ahead down there and take up some space." And she was right, and so that is my second piece of advice to you. I want you to go out into this world, and I want you to take up some space. We need you in every room where the power is assembled. I want you at those tables, and we need you there. And when you get there, I want you to be clear that you are not there to keep other people out. You're going to be there to hold the door open so that others might join you. I hope you're proud of the fine tradition that you will carry with you from Coppin State University, because your education, I promise you, will get you there. But I want you to be careful, because education alone won't keep you there. And this is my third piece of advice to you, and I want you to hear it and hear it strongly. Not to let your intelligence take you to heights where your character can't keep you. And if you are confused by what I mean by that, we have examples all over the place. Turn on the television, turn on the internet, and you will see examples of, oh, how the mighty have fallen. The ones who reached the height of their career, who achieved great things only to lose it all. And it was not because they weren't smart, it was because they made bad decisions. So be clear that your intelligence might get you there, but it is your character that will keep you there. Now, there's a big crowd here today. They love you, and they're watching your big day, and everyone can see the rewards of your hard work. But what happens out of everyone's view is the process of developing your good character. Your character is the result of being honest with yourself when nobody is watching. It's what kept you grounded in the storm of deception. It's built in the times where you had to schedule that late night study session and set early morning alarms to wake up for your classes. It grows through forming good habits. The character that you are building and the habits that you're forming are the foundation that everything else will rest on. You will rise and fall. And I have learned this for myself based on your habits. They will, in fact, determine your quality of life. And so my fourth word of advice to you today is to do everything in your power to build good habits. You know, my father often told me, he used to call me little fella. He wanted a son, he never got him, so he called me little fella. And he used to tell me that the two most important things in your life that you have to protect with every bit of energy you have is your time and your good name. That once you lose them, you can seldom get them back. And again, I wasn't necessarily the valedictorian of my class, but I had a good name. It was built on the character that had been built every day by the choices I made and the habits that I built. When people saw and heard my name, I hoped that they knew who was coming. Now, you can get by in easy times with bad habits, but it's the tough times that will test you. And I have been through some tough times, like so many of you here, and I have realized that in those times when you are pressed on every side, you instinctively fall back to relying on your habits. And if you are disciplined enough to build habits of accountability, showing up on time, of being dependable, Those habits will be there when you need them, but it works the other way too. The bad habits are revealed in tough times. In fact, someone said that people are a lot like sponges, that when you are squeezed, everyone can see what comes out. And you will in fact be squeezed because discomfort is a part of this life. You've surely experienced discomfort by this point. Maybe it was the discomfort of moving away from home or having a roommate for the first time. Maybe it was the discomfort of finding a way to afford college. Maybe it's this very moment. Someone sitting here today worrying about what comes after today. But you're sitting here today as your reward for having worked through discomfort, and it is good that you have experienced it, because that is my last piece of advice to you. It is to make peace with feeling discomfort. Somebody that may sound strange to, but the news is that I have to tell you, the bad news is that you will never be able to avoid discomfort in this life. Those moments will never stop coming, but the good news is that there is greatness on the other side if you are able to push through. I have to tell you, I felt tremendous discomfort during my Senate campaign. That was a time, I have to tell you, when victory was not a sure thing. You heard your president say that we had only elected, out of over 2,000 senators in the United States, we had only elected a black woman twice. And so like you, in the many walls that you will face, you'll be breaking down many of them. And I have to tell you that discomfort came every step along the way. And it pushed me, however, to wake up earlier, to set aside time to pray every morning, to take care of my body and work out. Discomfort pushed me to dive deeper into my research and to practice for my debates. And the moments of discomfort, I have to tell you, that you experience, some of them may be public. But what will get you through is your character, the work that you've already done in private. And so don't let discomfort distort who you are. Use it to reveal who you are. And I can tell you that that discomfort will subside, and that you too, even in times of discomfort, have to choose positivity. In fact, I have to tell you what I did. I was so determined I was going to get through that the Michael Jackson song, Can You Feel It? I played that song for myself when I needed to be encouraged. Can you feel it? And in the end, you'll find that genuine positivity in the face of discomfort can be what gets you through. It can be a spark that helps you prevail in the face of your competition. You'll be confronted with the same choices, the choice about whether or not to tear other people down during your time of discomfort, or whether to water your own flowers. To remember always that even in those times, someone is watching, and that you may have to suffer in public, but I want you to hear me and hear me clearly. You're going to prevail in public as well. So remember that. And gaining the victory will not only encourage your friends, but it will amaze your enemies. So class of 2026, you have been building your character and increasing your knowledge for such a time as this. And I want you to know I am so excited to be here with you today, because the world is ready for you. And what's more, the world needs leaders like you to take up space in every career field and across every discipline. And maybe some of you are looking at me, and I'm going to leave you with a story here and be done in just 1 second. But some of you may be looking at me and believing that I am maybe a little delusional. You may be saying, she must not see what we see. These self-centered people who are leading, the dishonest people who are in important places. Maybe it seems like I don't notice that people are taking it every opportunity to try to bury everything that's been built over time. I do see it. I know it's scary out there, but I can tell you for sure that if you live long enough, you'll know that these seasons change. You'll see that you don't have to conform to their way of doing things. You can stand in your integrity. And when the season does change, because it always does, it changed for your ancestors. And so we're going to need you to help rebuild and restore all that has been destroyed. And in fact, I encourage myself right now by reminding myself, as I look at some of these folks who are in office who got 4 years, and thanks to you, I got 6. So when they leave, We will, in fact, rebuild. Now, I want to leave you with a story to encourage you about a farmer whose donkey fell into an abandoned well. And the farmer tried but couldn't get the donkey out. He decided it wasn't worth the money or the energy to save this old donkey who had fallen into the well. He said, well, I may as well fill the well so that future tragedies can be avoided. So he started shoveling some dirt in the well on that donkey. The donkey realized that he was being buried alive, and for a moment he panicked. But then after a moment, he stopped panicking and he grew silent. The farmer looked down into the well and he was shocked. With each shovel of dirt, something amazing happened. With each shovel of dirt that was thrown on that donkey's back, I want you to know what the donkey did. He'd shake it off and took a step up. The farmer shoveled another pile of crap onto that donkey's back. And every time that he shoveled some dirt on his back, the old donkey would shake it off and stepped up. He kept going, no matter what life threw at him, through the dirt, through the crap, through the lies, through the fear, whatever was thrown at him, the donkey shook it off and stepped up, shook it off, stepped up, shook it off, and stepped up. And before long, he stepped up out of that well and went happily into his life. Class of 2026, you are not simply graduates of the school that bears Fannie Coppin's name. You are walking on soil that literally birthed Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass and Thurgood Marshall, super bad Marylanders, giants who felt the same discomforts that you have felt, and they shook it off. So remember who they are, but more importantly, remember who you are. This life will throw dirt on your back, but shake it off. People will try to cover up your dreams, shake them off. Go out and enjoy your unrepeatable life anyway. Make your mark on this world. Show up for the people and show the world that you are the real deal, because you are. And finally, I agree with your classmate who told you to do it with joy. And I want you to know that joy is also an act of resistance. So don't let anyone steal it, don't let anyone smother it, and use the dirt that they try to bury you with as their footstool. God bless you. May God's face continue to shine upon you, and enjoy your graduation. Thank you so much.